Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. I want to welcome you to tonight's edition of Yes You with Friends. I am joined by my awesome friends on this evening, and I tell you what, it's going to be an eventful evening. I promise you that. Child, I started the studio and started everything streaming and forgot to go live. So that was the first ha that kind of gave me an indication we about that. Houston, there is a problem. Then I got to do something else, and child, next I knew I had taken everybody out the stream and the stream and stuff. I was just like, Lord, I need Rebel to come back here and help in the studio because mother needs help. Listen, it's going to be a great night. I'm so glad to have my friends with me on this evening. Good evening to you. Daniel Dean is in the house. Hey, you're here, sir. The Rebel Inc. is in the house. Good evening to you, ma'am. And she is a streamer. If you're not following her, I want you to please go out and follow her. She'll bless your whole life. Stacy 546, I see you, sis. She's in the room. That is my sister in blue. And I'm so glad that you're here. And for everybody else that might be here but not in the chat, I want to say good evening to you on tonight. Now, I also want to welcome my awesome friends. You're going to notice that Tyrone is not here. He's still celebrating his awesome 10th anniversary and he's in New York City. But he sends his love and we'll see him next go around. Tall Pumps is in the room. Good evening to you, sis. Good evening to you. Come on in here and let's chit chat. But my other three friends are here, y'all. My other three friends are here. They're going to do an awesome job just sharing and talking and chit chatting with me on tonight. Jay Bears, Jonna CPW, and Royal Confessions may not be here, y'all. She just she's hanging on by a thread, y'all. Okay, let me act right.
You ain't gonna act right.
Girl, I wish you could see your eyes. Okay, let me come on back. Royal Confessions is here with us tonight as well. So listen, let's just go around and see how everybody is doing. And Daniel said, Royalty, are you asleep? Oh, I'm hurting. Okay, Jabez, I think we better start with you. And just how are you doing tonight, my baby? How are you doing?
Well, hello, friends. Good to see everybody's faces, everybody in the stream. Good to see you. Thank you for coming and supporting the stream. I had a pretty eventful work week. Some people retired and left the company, and so it was like uh, looking at the opportunity for advancement, but also looking at where I am in the entire picture of the organization. I was officially named the secretary of the nonprofit that I do work for, so that is new and exciting. This go around, we're starting to do some actual advocacy and starting to connect with the community this week. And last night, I was at DTLA Proud, which is downtown Los Angeles Proud, a quick little festival, and I danced the house down boots. My back still hurt.
Oh,
My back still hurt. My neck, I was swinging all left and right. So if y'all see me trying to get this together. But you know what? That's why I get a little loose.
see, you danced the house down. I'm not mad at you. Now, when you know you done danced and thrown your back out, you would really dance it.
Oh, the DJ called me out. They said, Jabez, this is your night. And I said, yes, it is.
I love it. Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word is established.
Check the internet. Y'all know I'm not on social media, but check the internet. There's video out there.
There's video out there of Jabez. Come through,
yeah.
love. Come through. I love it. And congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you.
Much deserved. You do a lot of work with organizations and especially in advocacy in the not-for-profit realm. And the thing I love about it, I know that your heart, your everything is in that thing. So they got the right one. Congratulations again. Yeah. Listen, Danny Dean said, was you dropping it like a thotty?
Oh, church girl, don't hurt nobody. Y'all know, okay. Danny Dean's popping up for some Beyonce. Come on, B.
I love it. Jonna CPW, and your world is.
First of all, can y'all hear me?
You're real low.
No.
I can hear you, but it's just real quiet, girl. Turn that mic up. Let us hear that voice.
Okay, is that better?
A little bit.
A little bit.
No, better? Okay.
Yes,
so
it
there's
is
a huge
better.
delay. But I would tell y'all my week was good. We got, this was our first week getting back into the swing of things with school. So it was a lot of complaining, a lot of sleepiness, and a lot of once the school day got going. So that was good. Everybody's kind of getting back into the hang of it. So it was good. Work was good. I didn't do a lot of it, so it was great.
Oh, awesome.
That's a great one.
How about the separation anxiety? Were you cool? Because let's see, little Nia's going on into another realm now, right?
Yeah, she is. By Friday, she was good, better. So she's all right.
Honestly, I wasn't talking about hers. I was talking about yours.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm good. Wednesday was tough, but Thursday was better. Friday was even better. So we're all getting into the hang of it.
Awesome on the adjustment. Adjustment phases can be very challenging and trying, but listen, you got it. You got this.
Mm-hmm.
And none other than royalty. Royal Confessions. What's going on, girl?
Girl, see, y'all won't do right. Y'all just won't do right. Look, I don't remember what I did last week. I don't know. I really don't know. I know it was the first school starting, but that girl, I don't know what I did last week.
I think I saw you at a football game, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, that was the North Side versus South Side, the rivalry of the city.
Danny
And it
said
was-
confess.
Look, there was like 4,500 people at that game. And that was the longest game I ever been to in my life. Yeah, so that was funny, and girl, look, y'all got me. I don't know where I'm at.
Were you up there on the second line, Royalty?
Huh?
Were you up in there on the second line?
What you doing, Jay?
The
She's
second
married.
line. Okay, never mind.
Oh.
I can have those in Arkansas.
Anyway, what I do? Oh, today we had a good day. I got the chance to minister to some people that really needed it.
Awesome. Awesome.
I went to a Mary Kay party and they gave me a drink. I took a sip of that drink. That drink was so strong, my navel's gone. My navel is burnt off. Where is truck driver? I have one of the truck drivers drink.
It's gone.
I'm just ready to close my eyes.
Your eyes are closed.
Did you think that was open?
I'm ready to close my eyes and go to bed. And y'all know I'm never hot. I'm hot.
I could use one of those drinks.
Look.
Oh gosh, Jonah, what's the name of that one drink? 151 proof or whatever.
151. Yes.
151. 151. I think 151 got a hold of her.
Yeah, I don't know what was, but that drink was so strong. Woo-wee. Girl, I tell you, I no longer have a navel.
Dee D said, not the navel. Listen, okay, so we're gonna jump right in because I feel like I have a feeling that we're gonna lose you in a minute. So we're gonna jump right in. So tonight, I want, we always talk about all the different things that are going in the world, and it's happening. One of the things we don't talk about as frequently is money. And definitely within the Black community, especially, I feel like it's a conversation we need to have because money and the economic stratus of Black folk, people of color, indigenous, it has to change. It absolutely, positively must change. But on tonight, so Jay, I'm gonna do this real quickly, and then I'm gonna have you all come back and do some sharing. Jabez shared, and this was back in July. We do have in my Discord channel a segment out there that deals with investment and money, and different ones post in there. And the idea is to spur those that are looking at finances, and I hope that's everybody at some point in time, those that are looking at finances, to spur them on in the ideas of things to be looking for, trends, that kind of thing. Jabez, you put this out here in July, and I put that up there. I hope everybody can see that. Can you kind of walk us through and share? Because basically what this map is depicting, that as far as upward mobility, where you live or where you don't live, whichever way that should go, has a tremendous impact on your ability to have upward mobility or not. And I thought this was a very interesting graphic and a statistic here. So with that, I'm gonna let you just kind of take it away and share, because I know you put it in there, and I appreciate you for doing that. And this is some good data.
And we had a really great migration of people inside the United States going to new places and creating new opportunities for themselves throughout the entire pandemic. And as we continue to grow out of it, this particular data that you're seeing here is showing the odds of reaching the top fifth from the bottom fifth in terms of upward mobility and income. So in other words, if you are living in poverty, what are the chances of you being able to to have an outcome that gets you into what is considered the top fifth, which is actual riches. Not actually always just saying being financially stable, because you can be financially stable and still poor and poverty, but actual upward mobility to the point where you have the ability of becoming changing your financial status from poor to rich. And I think you see on the left there, we have some right here in California. Y'all know I'm a California. I'm always going to hype my state. But San Jose, San Francisco, San Diego all made the top 10 there. And one of the things that really hit me is that when I look at the commuting zones for the lowest performing places in the nation, Charlotte, Atlanta, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Raleigh, St. Louis, even Cleveland. These are places that have a really high density of urban and Black populations. And when I look at the list on the left, which is showing the ranks of the top performing commuting zones in the nation, they tend to have places that do not have as much of a notable Black population as part of their cultural identity and city identity. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about is just what are the factors? And I think in my mind, education, access to education, and access to good paying jobs that are going to be stable, and quite frankly, lending opportunities from banks are some of the major factors that I put into this study, that I extrapolate from this study from my own, just analysis. I'm no economics major. I'm not one of those people, but I do want to understand what it is that makes the top performing places in the nation where you can escape poverty into richness different than the bottom facing. And obviously I see very big political differences on the left and to the right in that exact statement. For a lot of the ones in the high performing zones have leftist policies, and a lot of the ones in the lower performing zones have right-leaning policies. And I just want to know, especially to hear from the people in the stream, what do you think is causing this big disparity between the ability to go from poverty to riches?
Now, this is stunning to me, and I don't know. I remember when there was a great migration to Atlanta. I don't know if you all remember that. Some of y'all are probably too young to remember that. But I remember there was a great, huge migration. Everybody Black was trying to go to Atlanta because it was the land of dreams for Black people to become successful. And I'm looking at number 48. They are number 48. That if you come there in poverty, the odds of reaching the top from the bottom is they're tied, quite frankly, with Milwaukee and Charlotte. That to me is astounding, and amazing in that I think there still continues to be a trend to Atlanta of Black people in hopes of making it big, if I can use that as a word. Am I reading that correctly, Jay?
You are, but the data shown here is not recent. I think the most recent data here is from census in, I want to say 2000, maybe 2010. Or maybe, how often do they do it? Every 8 years or every 10 or 12 years?
Okay.
But this isn't from the most recent census data of this year, but it does, I think that it is a good representation of the world that we recognize and live in. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I look forward to the new data. We can bring it up on the future week and see if things have changed.
DJ extraordinaire, he's here, you all. Good evening and blessings to you. So much love. Please follow my DJ. He will bless your whole life. And BTD Mom, I see you. Good evening to you. So the migration and Royal Confessions, do you remember when a lot of Black people were just like the convergence on Atlanta was like Atlanta was the Black Beverly Hills and the place to go, I want to say in like the 80s and the 90s. Do you remember that migration and movement at all?
I do. Mm-hmm.
And so does that sound familiar to you, John? Or is that just totally something like you were too little to remember?
I remember a little chatter about it.
man, everybody was going to Atlanta. Everybody and their mama was going to ATL. So, and I've even had a lot of people that have tried to encourage me to go to ATL, even of recent. And not that there's a negative. I'm not trying to throw shade at ATL. Please don't go that way in your thoughts. But I guess I'm just really shocked, stunned, and amazed at how low, even whatever the data years were here, 2000, 2014, I'm seeing, or yeah, 2014, I see. So, that's still fairly recent, and it's still after the fact of the time that everybody was trying to go there. I remember when the companies were shutting down, AT&T, when they broke up all the bells and they came out with all the baby bells and all of that was going on, and everybody, and they weren't the only one. A lot of the companies were relocating people to Atlanta, and all the black people were just running out there. I'm just that number to me, the 4.5%, and to have them in a tie with Milwaukee and Charlotte is just stunning to me. So I don't know, Royalty, Jonna, either of you have a sense of feeling on that, and anybody in the chat as well.
Yeah, that is. It's hard to believe that it's like that because I have several classmates that relocated to Atlanta and are doing extremely well. I mean, they have their own businesses, and matter of fact, they're now ventured out. They started in Atlanta, but now they've opened up businesses in Dallas. Matter of fact, I just spoke with one of them a couple of months ago, and he said he's going to move it to Fort, open one up in Fort Smith, and then another one is CEO of hospitals, or the other ones have their own businesses. So I know there's just a few, but they've done extremely well, and so it's so hard to believe that number is that low.
That's shocking to me. That is shocking to me. And I would have definitely thought they would have been higher. And so maybe the issue is where they start in ranking. Would that potentially be an issue, Jay?
Yeah, I'm interested to know if they started in the bottom fifth. I think upward mobility is a lot easier from the former middle class than it is from poverty, and no matter where you are. And as you can see from this chart, they're basically saying you have a difference of a 1 in 20 chance of escaping poverty into the highest class for the lowest performing, to basically a 1 in 10 chance in the highest performing. So, I mean, that's a huge day. If that's, you know, a 50 or 100% improvement rate based on where you live. In other words, if you have a 1 in 20 chance and then you double that, you now have a 1 in 10 chance. That's a huge disparity as to where you live. And I really do think it has a lot to do with our political policies. I do believe that a lot of political policies on the right are intended to keep those at the top. And I do believe, and my personal belief, I know we don't really get too political on here, is that more leftist policies are about evening things out and building up from the bottom and being able to say, we want the ability to change things from the bottom up. Now, you know, political analysis what it is, but I really do think that if you want to have a society where people have the ability of growing from poverty and more chances and opportunities, you have to be able to give them the things that the poorest are often deprived of: safe communities, schooling, access to funding, especially for real property, real estate, not just for things that are going to depreciate in value, but things that are going to appreciate in value, and access to financial products. I know that some of the conversations that we've had on here have been about alternative financial products that are now out, like NFTs, Bitcoin, what is it called? Blockchain financing, and it's becoming a reality. I mean, it is a reality. I don't personally see it as a very stable reality yet, but it's here. It's not coming, it's here. And so the question that we kind of have to start to ask ourselves as a community and as individual investors is, are we investing in things that are appreciating in value, or are we feeding into a system that depreciates our worth for theirs?
Well, and this is a thing that's in my mind as a question for real. And that is, as people are migrating in for that upward mobility, is that leaving the people at the bottom without the attention that they need to get them out from being at the bottom? So it's, you know what I'm saying? So like, is it the ability to come in and basically um, begin to make that relocation because you're not in that poverty level, and then being able to relocate to an area where you can have upward mobility without something still trickling down to the people at the bottom. It's like, is you understand what I'm saying? So is it like
Yes, I
that
do.
sense of we can come from the outside and go up, but still nothing's going down to the people at the bottom, so they just stay there and go lower, is probably what's in my mind.
Well, I do want to address what you just said there, because people who migrate into new communities often tend to do better than the locals who are of that community across the board. And so this data isn't just for people who migrate from one space. Honestly, this data is showing a lot more of what happens to people who are from one space. This data, like in other words, if you are from, Atlanta, people in Atlanta will often say, and people tell me if I'm wrong, people in Atlanta will often say, if you move to Atlanta and you start a business, they'll support you the house down boots because you came from somewhere and you have a perspective. But if you lived in Atlanta your whole life and you try to do the same, a lot of times it can feel stacked against you because you don't recognize there's a system that exists in Atlanta that doesn't teach you a lot of the tools that other systems and other places teach you. In other words, how to get financing. Atlanta's probably not going to give you financing unless they know you in the bank. It's old school lending. But if you come with lending from another institution or from another state, it's a lot easier for you to get your business off the ground. And I think I do want to make that distinction that this data here is showing upward mobility for most people in any commuting zone are locals. They are people who didn't move in from a foreign city into their own city. I think it's becoming much more popular and common now as the younger people now get out of college and they want to move out away from home. But most of the data that we're seeing here, at least in this infographic, I do want to make sure we aren't saying that this is for immigration status of not even from another country, but even from another state. Most of these people that you're seeing, I would say at least 70+% of the data that you're seeing are from locals who are from a commuter population.
Okay. So the takeaway for me is, I as I look at that list of the bottom 10, and I look at that list of the top 10, and I will say definitely the areas of California, DC, and I don't know about Utah. When you brought in the political element involved there, I can see being more progressive in thought in some of those states, but not necessarily in all. But at the end of the day, I'm still amazed. I have to say, I'm still amazed at the ranking that Atlanta hits in that. But I do again address, we're talking about reaching from the top to the top fifth from the bottom fifth. That's what we're identifying. Those that are going from the bottom fifth, their ability to get to the top fifth. I just think that's astounding. Those are some astounding statistics right there. So thank you for sharing. Anything else you want to share on that? For real.
I just say, as we continue to deal with interstate migrations that continue to happen, if you're looking at what the future is going to be for your kids, if you're looking at what the future is going to be for yourself and your family as you grow into a new job, I think these are important things to look at. Important things to look at. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Woo! Rhonda has left the building. But I think these are important things to look at because where you live and the economic opportunities where you live have a huge impact on your financial stability. And one of the things that has always been apparent to me, even though economics has never taught me as such, is that the American South, where Black populations can be 30+% of an entire state, which is just not seen in New York, not seen in California, not seen anywhere else than the American South. We have the highest concentrations of populations back in the American South, and yet
I'm sorry.
I know. And yet I really do feel that our economic strength and our political power is often systematically, in other words, a system exists specifically for the purpose of diminishing it. And so when we live in places like Atlanta
Mhm.
and we talk about spending Black dollars, I think it is even more important in a chocolate city with 40+% of Black folk that you spend your money where we are, because
Mhm.
that's how reflects that economic muscle.
Mhm.
Build so that if it's only going to be 5%, whose 5% is going? Whose 5% is it going to be? Is it going to be ours, or is it going to be not ours?
Yes, yes. Love you, Michelle. See you later. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming through. Oh, wrong address. Listen, Royal Confessions she's trying to confess. She's trying to put it out there and tell y'all what happened.
Woo! What happened was, did you order it when you was a little tipped and kind of forget? Because I've had those moments.
No, he didn't even ask if the address he gave. I'm like, no, that is not even this address.
Well, if it was me, I would have said that sounds like me.
He had 3 bags of food.
Wow, wow. Somebody's about to be hungry if you took that order.
Yeah. Address 3406. Mine is 3404.
See.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Oh
Good to
Lord.
have you back.
He had some of what you had earlier.
Girl, I should have taken it.
Look, a little food will help that belly, is all I'm saying.
He might give me my navel back.
Please give her navel back. Somebody please give her navel back. So this is what I want to do tonight, because we don't talk about money. And I thought that was a very interesting demographic rather that you put and provided to us there with some good solid statistics. So listen, Danny, they're dropping like flies. They just dropping like flies. I'm telling you, that left and right. Every time I turn around, I'm missing another one.
I'm here.
When we talk about money and upward mobility, and I think all of us have dreams and goals and aspirations of being financially successful. Yeah, we got you, Jana. We got you. We got you. We got you. So we often do not talk about money. And I think that money is a conversation that we need to have. Now, the first thing I want to do tonight, and this may be all we do tonight, because I understand, listen, y'all,
If we get all the way through.
all the way from Montego Bay. Man said you should have took that. Y'all got me dying. Y'all got me dying. That Long Island iced tea was a strong island iced tea. It really, really was, baby. It laid her out. So I think a lot of times we don't. Number one, let me ask you, can you put a 1 in the chat? Put a 1 in the chat if you can. Can you see yourself migrating to the top 5th in wealth? Can you see yourself migrating to the top 5th in wealth? Do you think that's possible? Honey, Royal Confession said, absolutely. See all them ones? She said, I ain't mad at it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Can you see yourself migrating to the top 5th? Tall Pump said, yeah, she can say it. Man said, yeah. Come on. Because I think a lot of times, I know y'all don't like him, but I love him. If you can see it, you can be it. The boy's anointed. So it's that whole idea. Stacy, come on, 546. Danny, come through. And definitely all of the talent that I see from those of you that are saying 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1 and 1, definitely you have the talent and you have the ability and you have the gifting to be in that top 5th percent. But how many of you actually think that most of us don't ever really think about, I can be in the top 5th? True or false?
False.
You think about being in that top 5th?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm gonna be real. I do not have a realistic vision of what my life would look like with financial independence. In other words, if money was working for me, I have no idea what my life would honestly look like if I didn't have to wake up for somebody else to go to work or for my own pocketbook to go to work. That is a vision that I haven't seen, like honestly haven't seen in my own life. I don't have examples of it. That I have maybe some friends, but even they have to work, and I don't have that vision of it. And so when I say the top top fifth, that to me is financial independence. My money's working for me. I'm not working for my money. And I've never seen it. And I honestly have seen in cases with clients of mine, I see that they miss a lot of the fundamentals. They understand money, but all of a sudden they stop understanding some things about life. And or at least about my life. I don't want to say that they're out of touch. I just want to say that that vision is not what I want for myself if I ever reach financial independence. But I've never actually, I've pictured what I would be working few hours and making lots of money, but never to the point where my money's working for me and I don't have to show up for a job. I've never visioned that. I can't even really paint a picture of what that would look like, what I would do.
Jonna, can you see yourself in that top 5%? Do you see yourself in that top 5%?
Absolutely. Without a question. I can certainly see it. And I don't really know where that vision came from. I do have a couple of points of reference where I can say where, people that I know, or not maybe close to, but people that I know that do not necessarily have to work for a living. So I do know what that looks like. And I can certainly see myself there. I can see myself so much there that what I'm doing now doesn't feel right. So, I can absolutely see this. Yeah, this, and I think culturally, that's probably one of the biggest hindrances for us, is not being able to see it and thinking that it's out of reach when it's really not.
Now, I want you to expound on, so this doesn't feel right, because and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to shut up. I just had this conversation with somebody on yesterday where it doesn't feel right, because it's like, I'm living a reality. This isn't the reality I'm supposed to be living, but it's what I'm living. But expound on that, if you would.
I don't really know how to put it in words. When you talk about your shondo,
yes,
this is what I mean. It's like in my shondo, in my gut, in my bones, in my muscles, in my hair, in my teeth. I know when I wake up in the morning and there's a list of things that have to be done in order to keep this train track. No, that's not it. That's not it. Working for, like, even when I log in for work and there's a list of demands, and I'm like, I'm going to do it, but who are you talking to?
Yeah.
It's just, I can't really explain it. It's like, I am above this. I am above this. And, it's just a matter of zeroing in and tapping in to that point that gets me where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
And until that happens, it's not going to feel right. It's not going to be settled. Nothing in there. And I keep doing this every time I talk about this with Dwayne. This whole thing is, nothing's going to settle and feel right until you're in the spot that you're supposed to be in.
Yes.
And for me, this ain't it. Living with people, like, I can look out my window right now and I can see people. No, I don't. Why are you so close to me? Yes, you're in your yard, but I can see you and I don't want to. So,
but I can see you and I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to see grass or trees, or not people. Especially, let me bring that on in, but not people. I don't want to see people.
I think I know where you were going, Mother.
Yeah. Let me bring that in.
I want to know what they're doing outside your window.
Because Rhonda, I know, this is my iron right here. I know. And while I feel that there are a lot of people that really do not see any potential of themselves being in that top fifth. I know royalty. Come on with this. Okay, so talk to me.
Girl, you already know. I mean, it's about like what Jonna said. When you know that you know that you know that you know, And so some of you all probably don't know, but I've been teaching kingdom finance for years. And there's just some things I know I'm supposed to be in the top. You just know it. Now, how we get to that point, because we've been talking a lot lately about how things have got to manifest within in order to manifest without. So we have got to start seeing ourselves there.
Mhm.
And I am looking everywhere because I don't know where it's coming from, but I do know, and y'all know I say this all the time. God told me multiple streams of income,
Mm-hmm.
multiple streams of income. And so, spiritual thought, you say it on every time. You talk about love what you do and do what you love.
Mm-hmm.
It's our passion. Whatever our passion is. If you're going to work and you hate that, that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
Working for somebody else. No, we are the lenders. And I know that I'm supposed to be there. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know where it's all coming from, but you know what? Every day I'm looking. If I got to look behind this pillar, if I got to look here, I'm trying to see where is it coming from, because it's coming. Because I know that I'm supposed to be in the top.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know that it's happening.
Yes.
I go to the mailbox, I open up, I'm looking. Where is that check? Where is it? Who's going to knock on my door and say, the Lord told me to give you this? Who's going to do this? Where is it? It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yes, I am in the top. I'm going to always believe it's in the top. I used to teach people, how to some people don't believe in saving money.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I believe in putting money back. Some people don't. And I mean, that's a choice. But I would say, I don't care if it's a nickel or dime, change. If I knew we was having this conversation, I would have got some stuff out. I have big liquor bottles of change that I have been saving since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to my family, they'd be like, girl, go up under that bed and bring me some of that dusty money.
I just heard I have liquor bottles, and I was like, where's it going? But I'm with you.
But I've always been a saver. I can save money like nothing before. I can put some money together. And do you all remember going to the bank and they used to give those little bitty cards where you
Yes.
put dimes in?
Yes.
I can't tell you how many of those I have.
Mm-hmm.
From a kid, just learning to save and then learning to do stuff for yourself. But we make it so hard because we've been in poverty. We see many people poverty, and we think that we're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll never happen to me, or that. Yes, it will, but you've got to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to know it.
Mm-hmm.
And girl, I'm there. I'm in the top, and so are you all.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. So this is the second portion of this that I'd like to ask, and you all are doing some awesome comments. Listen, Stacy 546, you said the Rockefellers had a child out of wedlock and left that baby on your parents' doorstep, and it wasn't your sister.
I am that baby. Wait, what did Kamala say? That child was me.
Right.
You're retired and don't feel like your life work accomplished what you were meant to do. I hear you on that. And I think, man, so many would really, that would resonate with them, main man. And, this conversation I want to have, because we've got to turn this thing around. Yes. And even as we talk about getting to the top 5%, I contend that the majority of people don't even see themselves as being possible to get to that top 5%. So this is what I want to do. And you all can write this in the chat as well. I want you to imagine and dream and see yourself in that top 5% and share with us what that looks like, what you will do. Give me some kind of insight of what top 5%, we're getting there. What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with it? What will we do with that? And anybody can jump in of my friends and say and share what you want to. Please, I'd love to see ideas of what you all have. You're in that top 5%. You are financially secure and all is well in your world financially. What does being in that top 5% now provide for you in your life and living? And what does that look like? And I'll let anybody start.
I'll start.
Okay.
Because we have been accustomed to living from paycheck to paycheck, making ends meet. And I actually had the audacity to be upset when I did not win the $1 billion lottery.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I was upset because I know my money's coming. So I want it. But this is something that the Lord was telling me was about. We want the huge amount. We want the billions. But every time there's a need for me or if I want something, people just show up and pay that. It's just like the oil, the widow with the oil,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kept multiplying when she needed, just multiplying. And that's what's happening with us. When we need it, it's right there. When we need it, it's right there. But we want the big old lump sum. We
Mm-hmm.
don't understand that some of us are already there because every need has been made every time, just like the widow with the oil that never run out.
Mm-hmm.
We want that billions of dollars in the bank, not knowing what we're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
But we still are financially secure when it's been met, just like the oil. The oil never ran out.
Mm-hmm. That's a good word.
That's
That's a good
good.
word.
So, and then I was looking at, I'm trying to build a house, land with the house. And I was like, just bless me with few millions to buy this house. And the Lord said, if I give you the money to pay for it, it's not big enough.
See.
Because we want everything just paid off and we can just do whatever we want to do. And most of the time, that's not going to be the case. But we have to understand it's just not going to be a big, huge $1 billion drop in our lives for us to be secure and top 5.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And even as you're talking about the sermon on today, for those that were in the 2:00, your angel is on the way. And when you need that provision, when you least expect it, and the person that you would least expect it from, even in strangers, because these were strangers that blessed me on yesterday. And as you said, every need is met when that provision comes. When the need arises and the provision comes, it can come from anywhere where you least expect it. But the bottom line is, every time you get to your need, that need is met. So yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Jabez, Jana, what does that look like when you get to this top 5%, and notwithstanding, as Rhonda has said, it can be coming in other ways, but you're in that top 5% where you are secure financially. What does that look like? I'm gonna read Main Man as you all are thinking. You want to improve living conditions for our people and mentor some young people to be able to reach down and help some others. Come on, help others. Come on with that, Big Daddy. I love it, love it, love it.
Jonna?
Go ahead. Okay. Um, what does that look like? I love what Rhonda said, but I would still like them. I would still like that money in the bank.
Yeah, we want it.
I would
All of us
still love
want
that.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that idea, and it's true. It is true. As a matter of fact, some years back, I read a study that said that people, there is no difference in happiness. Which, how do we measure that? But this is what the study said: there's no difference in happiness than people that make 75,000 a year, versus people who are up in the millions. So it's like that 75,000 is what you needed to kind of relax. And I thought, wow, you hear that and you think, well, 75,000, that's not a whole lot of money, but that to get out of that paycheck to paycheck life, that's what you needed to get out of that. And the happiness factor is relatively the same. And I thought, whoo, that was interesting for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because 75,000 is not a whole lot of money, what we would think, well, at least what I would think as rich. Anyway, what it looks like for me, same, probably along the line as Maynard said. I need financial independence. I do not want to answer to anybody. I don't want anybody making any demands on time. I want to have my own time, do whatever I want to do with it, which for me would definitely trickle down to those in need, improve living conditions for a few people. And I would love to fully fund a school. a school for girls, a school for Black girls. I would love that. Boys can come too, but we'll worry about that in a minute. But that's what it looks like for me. Just that demand on time out, and not having to be in that rat race. The financial independence, not being dependent on anybody else. You know, when you have to put in for a vacation day, I hate that. I'm like, if I don't want to come to work, I'm not coming. That's what I'm talking about. That financial freedom where if I'm not coming, I'm not coming. And nothing changes, you know? So that's what it looks like. That's the top layer for me.
You know, you said 75,000, and you guys remember the story a few years back about a billionaire, I can't remember if it was M or B, but he decided to not take the profit. He gave himself 75,000 a year, and he let the rest of it go. He paid everybody in his company got paid $75,000. Do y'all remember that story?
I remember that.
There's been some very recent news developments about that same individual, and they have nothing to do with his financial policies, but they have a lot to do with maybe aspects of his personal character. So before I let him be lauded out as a great example of where we should be, yes, I 100% agree with his economic policies, but in case anybody is wondering, his name is Dan Price, and great economic policy. As the CEO of his company, he decided he wasn't going to take the hundreds of thousands and millions from his workers, and paid every laborer in his company a living wage. And that was out of the Northwest, out of either Seattle or either in Washington or Oregon. And I agree 100% with his financials. He has since retired as CEO and is in a little bit of legal trouble right now. But I do want that disclaimer in case, since this is airing today and we're streaming live, if anybody were to look that gentleman up, I don't want them thinking that I'm giving a platinum endorsement of him.
Well, I'm not giving an endorsement of him. I'm really addressing and to separate the man and whatever issues he has from the concept. The concept obviously worked very well and was productive in the way of the workers. And I'm going based off of the video footages that I saw and the interviews that were on the news and the internet at the onset. Now, whatever he's in now, I don't know. But I want to separate that from the concept of what he did. If everybody was able to have a living wage, that's where I'm emphasizing. If everybody was able to have a living wage instead of a couple of people at the top siphoning all that off while everybody else is struggling, and the productivity and everything else increased according to what was in the statements that came out.
They still are polling all of the employees of the company, and they consistently say it is one of the best places to work. It consistently wins state and regional awards for the best place to work. And I do feel that there is a lot of pressure from moneyed individuals to try to prove that his model won't work. I really do think that a lot of this campaign that removed him as CEO is exactly that, to try to put some things on the business and the model that definitely belong on the man. So
yeah, at the end of the day, there are a lot of multi-billionaires that don't want that concept to go forward. Exactly. So understand he's going to meet some opposition and whatever, mudslinging and whatever else. And I'm not saying yay or nay, right, wrong. I'm just saying conceptually what he put out there, I think is just great. And I'm going to that number that John has said of the 75,000 that people can live comfortably with money management with $75,000. And we tend to be more in our mind. Everybody wants that M and the B behind our name. And it's like, as Rhonda said, if your meal barrel never runs out, then what is it? What's with that? I'm gonna read before you speak, Jay. I want to share Tall Pumps, who said she was thinking the same. She wants to be an advocate as she was before, but not dealing with the bureaucracy of social services today, really helping people without stealing or judging and providing mental health for real. Come through with that, Tall Bumps. And that's some stuff that's really, really, really needed. Yeah, I love that. We're hearing some good stuff here. Jay, that 5%, talk to me.
So I actually have a vision, and it's quite detailed because I've asked myself. So a lot of the streamers may or may not know. I opened my own company in 2015 and began working. Stopped working as just an independent contractor, but began working for my own company in 2015. And it took 2.5 years. But after that first 2.5 years, it was literally the most financially stable I've ever been. And I closed down the company in the pandemic in 2020.
Mhm.
But to the streamers, I will say this: I have a vision of exactly what my financial future looks like because I have to work to get there. I don't expect any windfalls because I don't play the lottery. I mean, I'll play some blackjack, but that's pretty much it as far as I go. I can hit 21 on a good day, but sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
But I do have a very, very distinct vision of what my financial future I want it to look like. Um, I'll start with this. In the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, he talks about his time going from being a slave, literally having all of his labor stolen and his life and liberty and ability to have any autonomy over himself stolen, to what it looked like for him to be a free man. And even after being a slave, like literal person in chattel slavery, in American chattel slavery, he then began contracting himself out or sorry, then after getting out of slavery, he went into what he called wage slavery, which is what a lot of us kind of live in, where we work for somebody else and they pay you a wage, but the wage isn't exactly enough to have your own housing, have your, so they'll offer you how they used to offer the slaves housing, offer them, you know, all the little benefits to try to get them by, but honestly, they were still dependent on somebody else to get their money and to have a livelihood. And they still had a lot of say over whether you could get married, whether you could have children, what those children were going to do, and what their contracts were going to do. But he said once he recognized freedom was when, after he was emancipated as a slave, got out of wage slavery, and began working for himself, and finally had the right to contract his own shipbuilding services out himself, set his own wages, send his own invoice, and be his own man. And there is no version of my financial security that does not include Jabez having the ability to set his own price, send his own invoices, and be their own person. So 100%, I agree with what Main Man had said. I think that 20% of whatever income that I bring in as I'm financially stable, I want to be able to save. I'm going to give my tithe at 10%. I try to be faithful to my tithes, but I don't exactly give them to the organizations of church anymore. But I do that just because I want to be faithful and remember that the money that I earn is for a purpose. And right now I am, after closing down my business in 2020, I am living back in wage slavery. The apartment that I live in, the food that I buy, the gas that I put in my car is all paid by somebody else who gets to tell me when to show up, what to do. You know, all of those things have returned in my life, but I have a real plan to escape it and get back to that independent contractor, independent wealth status. The other thing that I want to make sure that my financial independence encompasses, even if it doesn't require me to work personally for my income, is that I continue to work for my community. And that's what Main Men had said. That's what I saw Tall Pumps had said. No matter what is done, even now, I'm in wage slavery and working for, you know, a large conglomerate who doesn't know who I am or care. But with my time, I work for my community. I'm here in Los Angeles. I show up for the events. I make sure that I am loud, that I am proud, and that I am seen in the work that I feel that I've been called to do. Now, I do believe in getting paid for that work. I just am at a point right now where I need to do the work, and I have not yet, and I'm putting a hard yet on it, found a way to monetize that in this current economy. But for me, financial top 5% includes giving at least 25 hours a week towards my nonprofit or community work, giving at least 20% of my income towards savings, long-term savings, so I can use for whatever I want or in the future to have my needs met, and 10% for tithes. And all my bills are paid. And I'm not, look, my bills are on.
Mm-hmm. Good. And I'm going to say this, and I shared this with someone the other week, and I'm going to say this to everybody here that's in this chat. I pray God's blessing on you that you never have to know when your next payday is. That you never have to know when your next payday is. When you don't have to think about it, and it doesn't matter payday or not. You understand what I'm saying? When
yes.
You already have plans on what you need to do. I pray God's blessing on you that the day comes in your life that you never have to know when your next payday is. I want that for you. I want that for you.
And agree. Touch and agree.
That for you. Stacy 546 said, if I knew I didn't have to worry about anything, I would do things like better ways of taking care of the elderly that don't have money, better pay for the people taking care of them, and housing for the homeless. You guys are powerful. And this is why, there's a scripture that says the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. And I think this, and I won't go into a whole lot of who's wicked and who's not, but just the concept. The idea of people with hearts that would do for others and care for others and make the way better for others, I think is phenomenal. And I think there's going to be a transference of wealth to those that have the heart, the ideas, and the attitude and the desire to make a difference. I think that's going to start to happen, and those doors are going to really start to swing open wide, where we've seen the hoarding of wealth to those that are selfish and greedy. I think you're going to see that transfer. And to me, that's the wicked. You're going to see that transfer from that greedy, selfish, all for me mentality and attitude to people that really want to make a difference. I'm gonna ask two more questions. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. But LaWanda Visions, yes, miracles, signs, and wonders is in the room. Good evening, LaWanda Baskerville. It's good to see you on today. Thank you for coming by. Now, two questions that I want to ask, and I really, they're rhetoricals maybe. No, the second one is not, but the first is, as we say what it is we would do if we had the resources, do you think this is maybe not what some of the others that came from the bottom fifth that found themselves in the top fifth? Is this maybe what they said when they were in a different position? And again, we don't know what their hearts were. But I guess my ultimate question is, once you get in that top fifth, do people's hearts, minds, and attitudes change? And more so with introspection. Once I get in the top fifth, and I'm already there, once I get in the top fifth, will my heart stay true to the ideals of what it is that I want to do? And then the second thing, Do you have a plan? And you don't have to share your plan with this per se, but those of you in the chat, put a one in the chat. Do you have a plan? If you do, please put a one in the chat. If you have a plan, you know that you belong in the top fifth. Do you have a plan? Is my next question. And then, of course, the question of introspection, which is strictly rhetorical. You don't have to answer publicly, but I just want you to mull this over in your heart. When you get in that position, will you stay true to what your heart says and what your heart speaks you want to do in that top 5%? Because we got to get people that get up there, and we do have people that are up there. We do have people that have made it from nothing and have gone. I listened to Tyler Perry talk about sleeping in his car and being homeless and all the things that he went through. And I'm not using him as a negative, but please don't hear that. I'm just saying he has gone from probably what we would identify from a very, very low standing to, I would say, being in close to that top fifth arena. If that's you, will you stay true to your purpose and your call? And do you have a plan? Stacy 546 has a plan. Come through with that. You believe God's going to allow those with the hearts for the people to gain the wealth. Feed my people. Come through with that. And I believe that same thing. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Amen. And with that, keep putting those ones in the chat. Do you have a plan? And if you can't put a one in the chat, I want you to think about making a plan.
Yeah.
If you cannot put a one in the chat, no shame, no shade, but I do want you to think about making a plan. And so, Jabez, Jonna, I'll throw that back to you two.
The first question again was, I think I'll stay true to it. My short answer to that would be yes, but I would say over the years, my vision has changed drastically. Because I don't know if it's just, maturity. You get older, you see how things work. And, the whole, I'm just going to save everybody is not as feasible as you might think. Mm-hmm. So that, for me, that vision constantly changes, seeing, things around me and how things are going and, all of that kind of stuff. So will I stay true to it? Again, the short answer, yes. Mm-hmm. I absolutely will. But I'm always open to adjustment as needed, because once I get to the top, there's no coming back. We won't be going back down.
Yes.
Not ever. So we have to keep that in mind. And do I have a plan? Again, I have a plan, but it's changing. It's constantly, I'm always on the lookout for areas of opportunity. And for me, I need a little more education in it. I need to learn a little more about money. And because here's one thing that I know for sure, there's all kinds of workarounds and different types of money management systems that the general public has no idea about. And it's not that it's not available, it's just not going to be offered. Mm-hmm. So my thing, I need to learn some more about those kinds of things. There are people that I know that are paying mortgages down in half the time.
Yes.
Working the system. People that are putting their kids on 800 credit score and you're 22. You've done nothing. Working the system. And so there's ways around, lots of ways to kind of work the system from the inside out. And that I need a little more, to get a little more familiar with. So my plan, yes, I have a plan, but I'm constantly gathering more information.
Awesome.
I always say, what is the biggest indicator of what you will do is what you have done. Anybody who forecasts and makes projections on trends, they don't make them, if they're any good, they don't make them out of nowhere. They make them out of evidence of what you have done. And so in that, I will say I 100% am keeping to my mores and my plan of when I get there, I know that I'm going to keep true to my word, because I have to work it now. I can't get there without working it now. So it's hard. I don't think it'll get any easier when I get richer, but it's hard. But you have to do it now.
Yes.
If you do not practice in tithing, you aren't going to start one day saying, "Oh, I've got enough money, I'm going to tithe." I've seen too many people say it. If you aren't practiced in saving, you aren't going to get a whole bunch of money and then be like, "Oh, well, now I'm good at saving. I'm going to put it somewhere. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to let it actually accrue interest." It's one of those things you have to practice. And I say practice just as much as people practice law and people practice medicine. You got to practice money. That being said, do I have a plan? That is a really interesting question, because I'm somewhere between Jonna and what Rhonda had said earlier of being, is it under the pillow? Is it in the lottery? Is it there and that? But I also, look, I feel that my steps are ordered, and I tend to be more of a pragmatist, which is not, what people are trying to hear on today probably. But my plan is to keep sticking to it. Honest to goodness. I am working right now, like I said, in wage slavery, but I have a plan to get out of it. I have a plan to open my own business back up when the time is right. I think right now, coming out of the pandemic with no real ability to get product and no ability to do a lot of the things that I would need to do to start the business that I want to start, I'm being pragmatic. I'm putting the pieces together now for that to be something that I can use in the future. But I'm waiting for that opportunity to present itself. I often say that luck isn't luck, it's preparation and opportunity. So I like to be prepared. I'm prepared for a lot of eventualities. Like I said, I was voguing the house down last night and got a shout out on who knows how many places. If they come as we're going to give you $2 million to vogue the house down over here, then that's going to be where my blessing comes. But regardless of all of that, I still have a plan, a pragmatic plan to get my current status of wage slavery to getting back to owning my own business, which, by the way, I probably will still work in wage slavery and have that as a second job. So I'm talking about giving myself 60 hours a week of work and still doing what I want to do in my nonprofit world. So it's a lot of work, but here's the thing. I feel like it's work I'm already doing. I'm just not getting paid for it.
Gotcha.
So the difference for me is I want to make this plan, and the only thing I need to do is have the resources to act on it. Right now, I'm paying back old debts. As soon as debts are paid, I'm going to save. And as soon as savings are made, I'm going to put that money to use towards getting my financial independence and opening my own business back up.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to close with this, and then I'll have you all give our closing comments. Tom kidnapped her, Tall Pumps. Tom got her, and she didn't. He got her. That's all I can say. Now, and yes,
not Tom.
Tom got her. Now, I like what you all are saying over here. Royal Confession said, "I wish." Okay. Let me stay on track because I'm getting ready to lose it. So here we go with Jonna and you and Jay both, as well as I'm seeing some comments over in the side. I think Tall Pump said she's revising her plan. She's got one, but she's still working on it. I want to talk just briefly that keep in mind as you make your plan. And I think the pillars of Scrum are just absolutely marvelous. And if anybody doesn't know, I'll read it to you. I just wanted to put that up there. Scrum, within technology, Scrum comes out, and that's the idea where you work in teams and they put something out there before, you got that phone, that first iteration of the phone, they'll put it out there knowing full well it's buggy, but they'll fix the bugs as they go and, keep on going. But one of the things that they utilize for being able to create so quickly within Scrum is the ability to come together as a group, get new innovative ideas and get them out there. So I want to say this to you guys that are trying to put your plans together. Take this same concept and put it out there. Today I said something to the effect of, as they went, they were healed. So there may be times where there may be times where you don't have it all together, but as they went crazy, Berrytown is in here, you all. That's my girl. That's my beautiful sister. She will Zumba You Design. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you so much. So even on your plans, even as you're making this plan, because I see top 5% in here. I see top 5% in here everywhere. So as you're making that plan, Johnny kept touching on that idea of adaptation, and so all of those three work together. The transparency, you cannot not be real with what's really going on. Is it working? Is it not working? Whatever the case may be. If it's not, then go ahead and make an adaptation to whatever's going on. And then always inspect. Come back and see what you got. Go back to the transparency. Let's really, really talk about it very genuinely, very openly. And I'm saying with yourself. I'm not necessarily talking about with people, but I'm gonna go back to what Dr. Dady Priest, that's my girl. If you're not following her, engagement matters. Let me go back to what Dr. Dady Priest said, and that is the idea that if you don't have a coach and your coach needs a coach, if you don't have a coach, please get a coach. So at end of day, you may want to get a coach in the process. Jonna, when you were talking about understanding how some of those dynamics work that we as definitely people of color, we may not know and don't have the insights to that readily, but doing the research, getting the understanding, learning how it can be done, and then positioning yourself to make it happen. All of those types of things. And then the coaching along, whatever it takes, and be very, very intentional in that. But again, those three aspects and elements, transparency, inspection, and adaptation, let that be. And that's an ongoing process. It doesn't stop. It continues on. And that's how you get your new iterations. That's how you come out with then the next model. And then all of the iterations of whatever is in that level. And then the next one. And so please, I want you to think about your plan. And I definitely, as we started off with this conversation, I want you to see yourselves there. And with that, we'll have our final from our friends. And Rhonda, I don't know if you want to come back in or not. I saw you for a second, but I lost you. All right.
Well, I'll start. Good conversation today. Honest to goodness. After the last week I had, like I said, there's been a lot of change up at work, and work being working for someone else. And I've been asking myself, do I want to elevate in this company, knowing it's going to take more of my time, more of my passion, more of my etc. More money, enough money, probably not, but more money. Or do I want to keep on the path I'm on? And a lot of what you guys have said has helped me kind of navigate how I feel about it. I just don't know what I'm going to do, but it has helped me navigate how I feel about it. I will also say, when it comes to money, talk about it. One of the biggest things that I think will help all of us as people who struggle with financial security is talking about it. The more we all know that we're all in this together, if you go to, at least here in California, your employer cannot stop you from talking about how much you make. And that includes with your co-employers, your fellow people sitting there behind the desk, sitting there doing the same job. So when you hear that so-and-so's making $19 an hour and you're making $16.50, you then have an action plan where you can say, well, why aren't I making 19? I've been here longer. I've done more. I have more understanding. Talk about it. Talk about finances more. It is probably the most enlightening conversation you're going to have about money, is realizing that what you have in your head isn't always the same as what's happening in the real. And by talking about it, you're going to figure that out.
That's good. Thank you, Jay. Jonna.
That is good, Jay. I'm going to piggyback off of that and say, if it's okay if you don't know, but let's not stay there because there's so much information out there, and so many, and I'm just going to call them traps because that's what it is. So many traps that are set with intent for failure, because there's profit even in that for somebody. So if you don't know, ask, read everything you can read, get on top of your own personal stuff. Everybody has a starting point. No need to be ashamed about that. And the vision, if you can't see yourself there, you really got to work on that. My thing is move around in places where you don't feel like you would normally belong. Just go to it.
Mhm.
One thing my husband and I do whenever we can is we'll go to houses, $2-3 million if they're open house. Go right in, talk with the realtors, shake hands, good afternoon, how y'all doing? Move around in these arenas as if you belong there because you do.
Mhm.
There's nothing that's really outside of your reach. The only block is here. So get out there. If there's someplace you want to be, go there. Look around, fill it out. And the more you do it, the easier it'll become. And next thing you know, you're there.
Yeah.
That vision, go forth.
Come on. I belong here.
I belong here.
I belong here. Awesome conversation. Listen, chat, you all have been incredible. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your conversation. Thank you for your visions. Thank you for sharing in the chat the things that you would like to do in that top 5. And guess what? I believe you're going to make it there. At the end of the day, as I said, I want to affirm over your life. May you reach the point in your finances where you do not have to think about a payday. I bless you with that. I speak that over you. May you reach it and attain it and reach the dreams and the goals that you want to do in your life. Jabez, Jana, as always, and Rhonda, Royal Confessions, thank you so much. I appreciate every last one of you being here tonight. Now, I want you to work that plan. And as I say it like this, work your jelly. That's the way Rhonda and I say it to each other. Work your jelly. There you go. And at the end of the day, you are part of the top 5. Now we're going to get ready to get out of here. And I appreciate everybody that's here with us on today. I don't know if I have a mod. Do I have a mod here that can take us over? I know Michelle Brown. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and please copy this raid message. We're getting out of here, but I thank you. This conversation about money is just the beginning. We need to have this conversation a lot because there's so much in store for you. Get ready for great things. Listen, and as I say, love what you do and do what you love. Peace for your journey.